I think there's a lot of talk about our country as being torn apart. There are people on both sides contributing. Intellectual humility and curiosity and open-heartedness are not the name of the game. My name's Simon Greer. I've developed a practice called Courageous Conversations. It's a disciplined approach to how we engage with people productively, even when we have fundamental disagreements. And the solutions we need in the broader society is the same prescription for higher education.
There's a culture of there's just certain things you don't say, and if you deviate from that, you will get called out on it.
I used to love teaching, but then suddenly I started getting reported to the dean. And so because of that, I just don't say anything offensive, I'm not provocative, I just play things by the book, I don't tell jokes, I keep things very dry, because I can't trust my students.
It is really sad
Yeah.
that you just said, I can't trust my students. Right. What does it mean for our country that someone as thoughtful as you feels like I can't put my best teaching self forward? People don't want to communicate across lines of difference. They want to hunker down with their friends where they feel safe and secure and validated. Shame on us for not equipping them to do something different. We teach a set of tools and then we drill them in practice. And the skills, they sound basic. They're listening, providing feedback, and telling stories. But it turns out you don't learn them anywhere. Oberlin College and Spring Arbor University did the first ever Bridging the Gap program. Oberlin, super liberal school. Spring Arbor is Free Methodist evangelical school.
There's a lot of people at Oberlin who think that engaging with evangelical conservative ideas is bad discourse.
I had a hesitancy to share my faith because I wasn't sure if they would allow room for me to express my faith.
They talked about gay marriage, and they talked about abortion, and they talked about climate change. I mean, they talked about all of it.
He used the word colored, and it just, for me, I was like a recoil.
There were some disagreements.
They were saying whoever joins the military are murderers. That got me heated.
Often we're listening, but now something bothers us, something upsets us, we disagree about something, and we have to try to communicate it.
Simon told us to sit down and think and not jump to conclusions and ask why.
Where does your faith come from? Like, what has made you have faith in God in a way that I don't?
I definitely just sat there and I listened, and I tried to clarify some of the questions that the Oberlin students had before I started to answer.
I thought that discussion was really, really productive and really, really interesting, and I learned a lot.
They allowed me to go deeper with them. I'm actually really comfortable with them, even more comfortable than I am with most Christians.
Once we disrupted the myth of who these two groups would be, I think it opened the space for them to bond very quickly.
Just because they believe something that seems so fundamentally different than what you believe doesn't mean they're doing that from a bad place.
I saw the students transcend differences.
Even though I had an assumption about what they would be, I found that it was the exact opposite. I know that I found lifelong friends with students from Oberlin College.
People took seriously the idea that we need to listen better and differently. We need to pay close attention and be curious, especially when we disagree with people. And that instead of reloading and attacking back when you disagree, that the charge is to go deeper.
You need people who disagree with you because only they can challenge your confirmation bias.
This process has really helped me to slow down and be like, I don't know the whole story.
Even if you don't agree, if you keep that in the back of your mind, how can I relate? Where's the common ground? I can use that with a lot of people.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying the culture isn't resistant to it. But there are students who are ready to lead in a new way, in a different way,